All right, guys, in this video, we are going to humble myself. We're going to do a Think Stocks portfolio audit. So I started my channel back in 2020, put up a bunch of videos, but nothing really stuck until I posted this video. This was my very first portfolio tracker video, and it's done quite well. And ever since, I've done really well with posting portfolio trackers, and I'm on my way to 30,000 subscribers as I am recording this, and I thank everyone's support. But back in September of 2020, when I posted this original video, let's say you were someone that stumbled upon my channel and had $140,000 laying around, and you figured I could put this into an ETF like the SPY, or I could just split it between Think Stocks 14 investments, which are right here on the screen. If you were to do that, which I don't recommend you doing that because I can't recommend you doing it because none of this is financial advice. It's all for educational purposes. But we're going to dive into an audit to see how that hypothetical person would have done. Should you listen to people on the internet, or are you better just putting it into a low cost index fund like the SPY or even the NASDAQ? So since September 20th, when I posted that video, September 20th of 2020, we're now almost 3 years later, call it maybe a little more than 2.5 years later, the market is up 35%. It had an amazing ride up over a year and a half. Then we entered a pretty nasty bear market in 2020, and now 2023, as I'm recording this, we're almost at all-time highs again. So you could see to the right, not only do I have the SPY, I also have the NASDAQ, which is pretty much around the same. It's actually losing to the SPY since September of 2020. It's only up 34%. But then below, we have all of my investments that I originally have posted in my tracker video, and stocks that I thought would beat the market, because obviously that's everyone's goal. So we're going to break this down, all of my losers, all of my winners that made me money, and then all of my alpha stocks. Alpha as in stocks that beat the market. Then we're going to add it all up and see if you were better off just throwing it into the SPY, or if I would have actually made you more money. So yeah, let's dive in. So again, we know that the SPY was up 35%. The NASDAQ was up 34% since September 2020. The very first one, which is my biggest loser and probably biggest disappointment because it was one of my favorite stocks, is PayPal. We are down a whopping 63%. That stings. Next is Square, my second biggest loser. We are down 50% since September of 2020. Then we have Shopify. We are down 31%. Next is Etsy. We are down 19%. Then we have Netflix down 15%. Then we have Adobe, our first one that actually made us money. We are up a whopping 1%. But again, our goal is not to just make money, but to beat the market. So even though this one was a winner, if you're comparing it to the market, we are still down 34% than if we were to just throw it into the SPY. And another way to look at it, it may be up 1%, but it definitely did not beat inflation since September of 2020. So take that how you are. You may have made more money if you just had it sitting in a Chase savings account, making 0.01%, but it definitely did not beat out inflation. So you could also kind of look at it a loser that way. But whatever, let's move on. Next is Meta. We are up 8%. Again, still below the mark of 35%, and arguably below the mark of inflation. But it is 8%. Not terrible, but not great. So I wouldn't necessarily count it as a winner. Then we have Visa. It's actually funny. Visa is a boring stock. It wasn't one of my favorite picks. I just thought, you know what, whatever. It's a very well-known brand, household name, kind of a blue chip, gives a very small dividend. Probably a safe bet. I never thought it would be one of my better stocks. You can see we're going from worst to best, and it's pretty much right in the middle. It beat out all of these other stocks. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah. So it's on the upper half. Then we have SPGI. Again, another boring, simple stock. And it was one of my better investments, up 18%. But again, still didn't beat the SPY or the Qs since the initial investment. And disclaimer, this isn't my initial investment. It's just when I posted about it on my YouTube channel. I started investing back in 2017, but I think it's only fair to look at, hey, what are these numbers when not only when I had my first video, because I did have videos before this one, obviously, but this is when my channel started to get some traction. So that's why I'm using this as kind of, this is the point where most people who watch me today or who have followed me probably started watching me at that point. So it wouldn't be fair to look at any videos beforehand. So yeah, let's keep moving down the list. Next is Intuit. This is our first one that has beat the market since September of 2020, since my first big video. We're at 45%. Again, the market is up 35%. So this did give you 10% alpha from the market, and it definitely beat out inflation. Uh, this was one of the crazy ones that really blew off at the end of 2021, but then had a really nasty correction from the top to bottom, down 50%. But hey, we are now at a positive 45%. And I didn't make it clear in the beginning, we're not dollar cost averaging or anything. I could have done that, but it would have taken, more time to figure that math out. So I figured let's just make it simple. If you just had that initial investment, you just put it all into these stocks right at the beginning and then watched how it rode. Then we have Apple. I don't think anyone is shocked that this one beat the market. It is at 55%. Then we have Google, which is also at 55% since September of 2020. My number two spot is Microsoft at 59%. I thought this was actually pretty surprising. Since that time, it actually beat out Apple. People always see Microsoft as kind of the second to Apple, but again, if you watched it right around that time, it actually beat Apple by a few points. And then everyone's sweetheart, NVIDIA. There's been plenty of times I have promoted NVIDIA saying that I think this is a good investment. It's up almost 250% since September of 2020. My initial investment for it was way before then, way down there. So the profit's even higher. But again, I wanted to be fair, and we should really just look at when I had a video that got me more than 100,000 views. That was the initial investment right there. We're at 246%. So let's now add it all up and see how we did. Did we beat the market, or are you better off not listening to strangers on the internet? So again, here's everything. Was there any alpha? You could see that the S&P 500 is up 35%. The Q's up 34% from September of 2020. We had 5 investments that would have lost you money: PayPal, Square, Shopify, Etsy, and Netflix. Ironically, 4 out of these 5 were my favorite ones in 2021 when everyone was flying high, especially PayPal. PayPal was one of my favorite stocks, but that just shows do not get emotionally attached to a stock because anything of everything can happen. You got to look at it objectively. Then the next 4 may have made us money, but did not beat the market: Adobe, Meta, Visa, and SPGI. And then here are our 5 that not only made us money, but beat the market: Intuit, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. So final results, let's add them all up. We did not beat the market. We are only up 23%. So if you followed me since the posting of that video, I may have made you money, but you would have been better off throwing it into the SPY. With that $140,000 investment, you would have been up $49,000 and your total would now be 189,000. Or if you went the Q's route, the more volatile route, you would actually be down 1% from the SPY. You would have made a little over 47,000. You would have been right around 187,000. I would have only made you $32,600, and you would have now had a total of 172,000. You would have beat inflation over the past couple of years, but again, you would have been better off just parking it into the S&P 500. So super humbling video, and the reason why I'm posting this is because I'm going to be changing up my portfolio a little bit. So I kind of wanted to announce this. Let's look at the results, how I've learned as an investor. And now, obviously, I want to pass that knowledge on to you guys. So make sure to check out my very next video. I'm going to go over how I'm changing up my investment strategy. Again, it's not going to be financial advice, but more for education and entertainment purposes. But guys, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. I love all the support that I get from all of you. And as always, I will see you in the next one.